Have you been looking at your hollyhocks and they don't look quite right? Well, you might have something called hollyhock rust, which is the most common fungal disease on this plant. Also, some of the damage can be caused by a sawfly larva, but we'll cover that in another video. When the weather's warm and humid, these are ideal conditions for this problem to develop. And as you look closely at the leaves, you can see a yellow to orange spot. They're usually about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch in diameter. And you look on the undersides of the leaves in order to find this problem. As the disease progresses, dark raised bumps called pustules develop. If the infection is severe, holes can be seen in the leaves that give them kind of a lacy appearance. And the disease can also cause premature leaf drop, plant stunting, and sometimes, but rarely, the plant can die as a result of a really bad infection. So, quick and dirty, what are the management options? Well, first of all, there are a number of non-chemical things that you might want to try that can help, but they won't necessarily control the disease, but it might have an effect to lessen the severity. The first one is in the fall, when you cut down your hollyhock, remove all the debris and don't compost it, just get rid of it, because you don't want to bring that compost back into the beds, especially if you don't completely decompose it. Also, control the weeds around the plant. And one of the ways you can do that is by putting mulches down in the spring, and that will limit the weeds. And don't plant the hollyhocks too close together. It's nice if they have air circulation in between them, which will allow the leaves to dry out after it's rained or you have fog in the morning or dew or something like that. And that will decrease the chances of getting disease also, because fungal diseases like free moisture on the leaves in order to get started. When you water your plants, try to use a soaker or a drip hose, and by doing this, it'll keep the leaves dry and decrease the chances of getting disease. What I like to do is I will put the soaker hose down in the bed and put the mulch on top of it, so in the event that you have some leaks in your hose, it won't be squirting water up onto your plants. Also, it's not uncommon to find rust already on plants when you buy them from the garden center. So what I would suggest you do is look at the plants beforehand, especially on the undersides of the leaves, and if you see those little spots developing, don't buy them. Also, don't save the seed from plants that are infected, because if you grow them, they will have rust, and also they will reseed themselves too. That's why you want to get the material out of the beds also. And then you might want to look around for some resistant varieties, and I will do a video on that a little bit later, but there are a few of them out there. When I checked a lot of the extension sites, they didn't mention them, so I don't know how good they are. One of the things that I'm going to do next year is get some of these resistant varieties and grow them and not treat them with fungicides to see just how resistant they are. And in terms of chemical control, daconil, also called chlorothalonil, will prevent the disease. To eradicate an early infection, you can use Immunox. Now, if you want to use organic materials, you might want to try sulfur. You can get it in a liquid form and a powder form, the wettable powder. I don't think it makes much of a difference. It's not as effective as some of these other things, but there are a couple of other considerations. For instance, if you're using oils for any reason, like neem oil, you should not use sulfur within 30 days of using any kind of an oil, and you can get some phytotoxicity or damage if the temperature exceeds 85 degrees, which is what it's doing right now, although it is too late to spray at this point. Neem oil will give you some protection. It's not an eradicant, and the time to start these materials is in the spring, about May in Michigan, but as soon as it starts to warm up and get humid, that's when the diseases can develop, especially after a rain. So you want to have your sprays in place by then. And you need to continue applications about every 7 to 10 days, as long as conditions are ripe for developing the disease, or until you get fed up with spraying and you don't care anymore. So that's all I have to say for today, and I hope this is helpful to you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.